Hi all. Apologies for the wait there. Some technical issues with starting the webinar. We'll give it maybe a minute or so for a few other people to jump in. You can see the participants starting to come up now. Morning all. Again, apologies for the 5 minutes with the waiting around. Some technical issues on our end. But no, to jump into the webinar today, and thank you all for joining today. Obviously, my main goal is to run through the platform in a bit more detail, give you an idea around how OpenSpace can help with your projects. But if I go ahead and share my screen, there'll be some time at the end of the webinar to sort of go through some Q&A, but we can also leave it as a bit of an interactive session. If there's questions that you've got as I'm going through the platform, feel free to maybe throw them into the chat box or ask away with questions as they come to mind. Let me just go ahead and share my screen. Fabulous. So to give you a bit of context to OpenSpace, as a business, we've been running for the best part of 6 years now, and active within the UK for the best part of 3 years. And where OpenSpace sort of fits in is essentially we're the sort of reality capture platform for the UK, and we see the value essentially across multiple stakeholders. So that's anything from pre-construction all the way through to handover and maintenance of some of these assets. And the platform is now sort of proven globally. So we've got a handful of customers, 180,000 of them sort of globally, that are feeding back on their sort of everyday needs. And everything that you see in terms of functionality and capabilities is basically through a request from our current customer base or people that we're ultimately wanting to work with. And this is how it sort of translates to our customer base within the UK as well. We've got over 2,500 jobs now in the area, and over 14,000 users now using the platform within the UK and Ireland. So a pretty big up trajectory with how many people are using the platform, considering that we've only been active here in the UK for the best part of 3.5 years. And to give you an idea around how it works in practice, it's very straightforward. Our whole ethos is around simplicity and ease of use. We feel that if something isn't easy to use, then it's not going to get utilized by the team on site. And it's very much plug and play. So all you simply do is attach a camera to your hard hat, or you can use a selfie stick. And we basically utilize these off-the-shelf 360 cameras. So you can get them from Amazon or Argos or from ourselves directly. And the cameras itself are very inexpensive. So there's about 7 or 8 different cameras that are compatible. These have got built-in Wi-Fi. So you'll pair that up with your OpenSpace app. You'll pair it up with your phone, and then you'd upload your GA plans into the OpenSpace platform. And they essentially then sit within OpenSpace. So when your team is on site and wanting to do their captures, they essentially drop a pin with the general location that they're standing in. And that's like their reference point then to begin a capture. So all you simply do is choose the sheet that you're on. Let's say you're on level 3 next to a lift shaft. You drop the pin with where you're standing, and off you go. You walk around the site, and OpenSpace then is doing your 360 walkthroughs. And this would be your sort of end output from that end. So you get this full 360 view of everything that's been captured on that particular date. I'll just move this out of the way. And this here is like your mini map. So the GA plan that you've pre-uploaded almost acts as your mini map. So the green squiggle that you see in the mini map is basically the path that that individual's walked through on that given day. So if I wanted to move around this area, and again, it's very similar to Google Street View, what I can do is basically drop on the floor plate, and it'll navigate me through the capture from that particular day. Or I can use my blue capture path, and it'll take me through the capture that's been taken on that particular date as well. So yeah, essentially these cameras are taking a picture every half a second, and an OpenSpace is essentially just pinning that half-second capture to the floor plan. So as I want to do or see what's happened on site from 1 week to the next, you're essentially building up a time frame of everything that's happened or captured within that space. So if you wanted to verify works that have happened, or in a worst case scenario, if there's a claim that's been made from one date and you're saying that progress has been made from 1 week to the next, everything that's highlighted in a darker shade blue is basically a capture that's been taken in that particular spot. So you can verify quite easily within a click of a button what's actually happened from 1 week to the next as well. So it avoids any ambiguity and makes the whole project far more open and, yeah, I guess honest in a way as well. And then the lighter shade blues is the sort of platform's clever enough to realize when a capture's been taken in that spot, but it may be 4 or 5 meters away from that particular capture as well. So if there's any M&E contractors on here, if you're trying to verify quality of install, you can quite easily do this. And even from a fire stopping perspective, which is a bit of a hot topic in the UK at the moment, you can verify the quality of some of that fire stopping that's going in as well. And another functionality that you get from this and doing the captures is essentially a split screen view where you can peel back the layers from one particular spot. So if I were to verify, once my walls have started to get fit out, or I've started to cover over ceilings, but I want to see where the piping is, you can basically pull up a split screen view from 1 week to the next, and again verify that within that space with locking the screen, what work has happened in that area as well. And for those on the call that aren't really aware or aren't using any snagging tools, what you can also do within the platform is create what we call a field note. So if you're walking through the site, you can either do this within the app itself, where it takes a bit of a high resolution picture, or you can do it after the fact when you're back in the office. And you can create these field notes, essentially a snag of that particular area. So let's say there's a safety issue that you want to raise, put forward to the rest of the team. You can hover over that particular spot. It'll create a screen grab of that area. You can see here that it's pinned it onto the floor plate, and then you can write in a description of what that particular issue is as well. And then you can make it blatantly obvious what you're referring to with marking these up with text boxes and arrows. But yeah, you've got your description box where you can put a bit more information on this, obviously assign out to other individuals. And all of these statuses and tags can be customizable to sort of suit your workflow. And then you can put due dates against this as well. But the whole idea with what we're creating with field notes and with OpenSpace in general isn't to be a sort of standalone platform. So we do integrate with other platforms such as Procore, where you can manage your issues within these CDs. And we also integrate into ACC, in 360 as some of the people call it as well. But all of these field notes that you're taking, they also sit within the library within OpenSpace. So if I wanted to create a PDF report of this to share out with my clients or to another M&E contractor on site or contractor in general, I can filter out the issues that have been taken here. So if I wanted to find all of my electrical issues that I've taken and mechanical issues, I can filter out all of the tags that I've created or assign them. And then once I hit export, it'll basically create a PDF of that issue as well, or those issues that are pulled through from that perspective. And again, for those of you that are sort of modeling within BIM, very similar to that split screen view, we've now got the capability to upload your BIM model into the platform. and we align the capture against your model automatically. So once you've done a capture for each level, OpenSpace then aligns your design against your reality captures. The beauty of this is you don't need to be very technical to navigate through your model and changing the layers, etc. It's all done automatically for you. So it's going to track you around the area or the captures and align it against your 3D model. So if you want to see that you're installing ducting, piping, whatever it could be that's within the model in the correct spot, you can do that in a very easy fashion. And the next stage of what we've done with this, we sort of realized that people on site aren't so technical with navigating through models, changing out the different sections, and we realized that there's a big investment that the contractors are making within these BIM models. So what we've done, very similar to what you can do within Navisworks, is essentially create the ability to have different save views within the platform, where you can jump around, and rather than hiding out the different elements individually as you get to that particular spot, you'd have the save view automatically within OpenSpace, where you can quite easily jump into that area and have the seams removed or floors removed if you're trying to see where pipe work is as well. And then you're also able to essentially overlay your model into your 360 capture as well. So in this case, if you've got a congested area with piping that's going in and duct work, and you want to verify it, or just get a quick and easy snapshot of what's going in that particular spot, you can overlay your captures and see that you're installing into the correct areas as well. And inviting people in is very straightforward as well. Within the pricing that OpenSpace provides, you essentially get an unlimited amount of captures, so you can go out and capture every day. We've got companies that will basically use OpenSpace as almost like their end of day chat lists. So they'd walk the perimeter of the sites, essentially assuring that things are getting secured and there's no sort of breakages with the hoarding. And then we've got companies that would use it sort of on a weekly basis purely for their progress. And inviting people in is super straightforward as well. And you get an unlimited amount of members that you can invite within each project within the pricing terms as well. And it's simply just put somebody's email address into the section here, and then you can give people different access rights. So you can make somebody a viewer where they can only see the content within the platform, or an editor where they're able to create their own field notes, which I just went through as well. And obviously site admins can pretty much do all of the above, and obviously invite other people into the platform as well. But in terms of core functionality, I think the message here is that OpenSpace is incredibly easy to use. And if you can use Google Earth, then you can pretty much use OpenSpace. But yeah, I'm going to stop my screen share there. And yeah, if there's any chats that you have, feel free to questions, should I say, feel free to throw them into the chat there. I think there was a hand raised before I shared my screen as well. So feel free to ask away with your question, or again, throw it into the chat at the bottom. No, well, in that case, look, I'll leave it there. There's a QR code if you want to create your. I share the screen again. So if you want to sort of create a little demo project with an OpenSpace, you can do this with the QR code here. And again, my email address is at the bottom of this. So feel free to drop me an email if you've got any questions directly that you want to reach out to me with. And then you can try OpenSpace with the QR code. So yeah, scan away. And yeah, thank you for joining. We've got a question. Is there any function BIM model can also move with captures? I'm not quite sure what you mean by the question there, Majid. But the functionality with the BIM model is basically you upload your federated model into the platform, and an OpenSpace, as you move around and you've done your capture for each level, would basically align against your 3D model. So as you move to one section of the building, the model will essentially follow with you as well. Hopefully that answers your question. Perfect. Yeah, so in terms of size limitations, we recommend that you have a 2 gig file or below, just from a performance perspective. We have, with the BIM Plus side of things, given you the ability now to upload multiple models within the platform. So rather than just having one single federated model into OpenSpace, you could have maybe your architectural model in there, your structural model, M&E models, and essentially choose the different models that you want to be showing or visible. So yeah, we recommend 2 gig, but we work on Prism projects, stadium projects where the file sizes are far greater as well. But yeah, the recommendation is 2 gig. In terms of pricing, the way that our pricing model works is we essentially annualize the construction value for a particular job. So let's say you're working on a project that's 10 million. We annualize that over the course of the year, and then we have a fee rate that ranges from 0.65% to 0.15%. So yeah, to give some indicative costs, I would basically need a better idea around the length of a project and obviously the size of it as well in terms of contract value. Project format side of things, yeah, anything that you can essentially throw into an Autodesk viewer, you can basically see within OpenSpace. So Revit, IFC, DWG, essentially anything that you're able to see within Autodesk. There's about 75 different file types that we accept. Can you please show how to overlay BIM on current progress when you have 2 windows open together? I think you're referring to the split screen view that I just went through. So within BIM Plus, when you've got your BIM viewer here, again, I'll jump to a save view that I've got. And again, to answer the question that was around file types, this is basically how you can federate your model with an OpenSpace and just have different files uploaded. But in this case, let me just jump to. Here we are. So if I wanted to select this pipe, for example, I can go through. Typical, my computer started to slow down now. But if I lock the screen here, and select the different elements. So I don't know if you can see the cursor there, but as I start to select the different elements within the model and click overlay, it'll basically throw in what's been designed within the 3D model against my 360 capture. So you basically just go through and select the elements that you want to be showing within this model itself. And you're essentially building up an idea of what's been installed. So the whole idea of this is a very quick snapshot. So rather than going out on site and measuring up and it taking you, a couple of hours to do so, you can do this within a couple of minutes to ensure that things are getting installed in the correct spot to avoid clashes. hopefully that answers your question there, Magnesh. Can we use bin model snip for field notes and how? Yes, is the question there. So if I created a field note within, as I've got my bin model open, it'll basically create a snap of that area. And then you can actually push these out into, well, within BCF files as well. So you can push them out into the likes of Revisto or your Deluxes, and they're all coordinated. There's a question here around how could you show point clouds in split screen view, and essentially it's just changing out or uploading your laser scan within Autodesk and turning that on within OpenSpace, so you can upload or ingest. We can now ingest your point cloud data. Can you give us a demo, because default only capture snip is coming in FieldNet report? Maybe we can take this offline, Majid, and with my email address that I just showed, you can drop me a message, and we'll answer some of the questions that you've got. Seems like the chat's gone a little bit quiet now. So look, if there's any other questions that you've got, or if you want to see OpenSpace in a bit more detail, yeah, like I said, feel free to drop me a message within the email address that I showed. Again, that's lewis@openspace.ai, so quite easy to remember. But yeah, thank you for all joining in today. Yeah, and the chat at the end started to get a bit busy, so appreciate your enthusiasm, everybody. Thanks.